the shopping season is coming soon. And if you're a lifter, or if you know of someone who's lifting, what better things to buy rather than more lifting stuff? Now, there are two things that you really need to have as a lifter: shoes and belts. So in this video, I'm going to show you where you can get them, and I'll show you my preference in buying them as well, so you can consider your purchase more carefully. Okay, let's start with this, the lifting shoes. This is probably the most important thing that you need to get when you are lifting. Lifting shoes supposed to have three things: a rigid sole, a slightly elevated heel, and metatarsal strap. If you're going to a local store, sometimes this is not available. Then instead, what they recommend you to buy is a cross-training shoes where you can sort of run and lift using the same shoes. But it is not as good. You should get this instead. Now, if you are in Singapore, you are sort of lucky because Trackyard Asia is stocking lifting shoes. So this is their website, and you can find 4 lifting shoes over here, and you can book an appointment for you to try them on first before making the purchase. But another problem with buying this kind of lifting shoes that it can be very costly. Usually it costs more than 200 Singapore dollars. Even if you can get a cheaper one on discount in foreign website, you still need to ship it to wherever your country is. For me in Singapore, sometimes the cost of shipping can be almost the same as the cost of the shoes itself. So that is not great. Until I found that you can buy it from Taobao. Right. So recently I bought one for one of my clients. I just searched weightlifting shoes in Taobao app, and I can find a very basic one for $45 shipped to Singapore. So it's really cheap. And I mean, for lifting shoes, very honestly, you don't really need an expensive one, and it's quite fast to get it to Singapore. I think I only wait for around 1 week from the moment I order to when it gets delivered to my place. And the next one is the belt. Now the belt have 2 different mechanisms of securing itself: the buckle and the lever. Personally, I do not like the lever belt, but if you like one, I think you should try to find something from SBD, but they are known to be a little bit costly. Well, but for the belt, it's slightly different. I feel that if you can get a good quality belt, you should tolerate the price a little bit more as compared to the shoes. For shoes, maybe after 4 or 5 years, you will need to replace it because the sole gets worn off and everything. But for belt, you can wear it for years and years, and it will stay with you if you get a very good quality one. So funny story, a few years ago, actually I tried to make our own lifting belt in Indonesia. We tried to produce it on our own over there. Well, it doesn't work out, but I learned a few things from that experience. So firstly, the material of the belt itself is supposed to be sole leather. So if you are having a nylon belt or some belt that has sponge in the middle, that is totally not good. You want the whole thing to be sole leather. This is how a sole leather will look like, you know. It is rigid and it's supposed to be supportive. Now, sometimes they would layer it with sweat, like this. But sweat is softer than sole leather. So if you're making a 10mm belt with 2 layers of sweat, you can feel that it is going to be a little bit softer, a little bit more flexible as compared to a full sole leather belt. After learning and trying making a few belts, I actually prefer everything to be sole leather except for the bottom layer to be sweat instead. So that sweat actually give extra friction on your torso and your t-shirt if you are lifting using t-shirt. So the belt doesn't actually move around when you are lifting. And if you're getting a 13 millimeter belt, 11 millimeter belt, usually it's 10 or 13. Some manufacturer like the one that I prefer right now, Dominion, can make up until 11 millimeter belt. I think that is going to be rigid enough for almost everybody. That being said, look at this belt. Look at the leather in this belt. This is a water buffalo leather. And see the texture? It looks really nice. And I have been recommending this type of belt to my clients because it just looks super classic and super nice. And you can get it from Dominion Strength. I will link their website below. And if you're getting something from Dominion, please use our coupon code HYGEIA for a $10 off your purchase. So in choosing the belt, I try to take a look at small details in their manufacturing and the components that they are using for their belt. So firstly, take a look at this kind of stitching. You know, although it's being stitched perfectly straight, it has a little bit of like, you know, an up and down, slightly zigzaggy pattern, and it looks nice, right? Whereas a lot of the other belts have like a totally straight stitching. Well, it's just aesthetic. I don't think it will affect the quality of the use at all, but it looks a little bit nicer. The other thing is this. Honestly, I don't know what is this called, but this is tough. Whereas some of the other belts have a very soft part over here. And the third thing is the rivet. This big rivet is very sturdy, whereas you can see on the other manufacturer they use a smaller rivet that is not as clean. And I see in one of my clients that the flower from the rivet starts to peel off, so that is not giving a great confidence over the manufacturing of the belt. Let me show you how you can measure your lifting belt accurately. A lot of websites will ask you to use this kind of measuring tape and then wrap it around your waist and find measurement from there. I find it not very accurate. So the best way to do it is, ironically, to use another lifting belt. So you can do this if your gym has a belt that you can use and you know which hole do you use for that particular belt. Your size is basically the measurement from this end of the belt, right where the buckle is, all the way to the hole that you are using. So for this belt, I am actually using the third hole from the end. So let's just try to measure it together. I'm doing it this way, so I'm not sure how accurate it is, but okay, let me give me a second. All right. This is the third hole, 31 inches. 31 inches. But not everyone will have access to the belt. That's why you want to buy the belt in the first place. What do you do if you don't have it? Use a normal belt. Most people would have this, right? Wrap this belt around your waist and make sure that the belt is placed in between your hip bone and your rib cage. It needs to be in between, all right? So let me shift this bench for a little bit. What you want to do is take a huge breath and do a Valsalva maneuver. Big breath, hold it, right? In a standing position. Take a big breath, hold, and pull the belt, all right? So wherever that is, right? For me, it's very close to this last hole over here is going to be your size. Sometimes, if your belt is a little bit longer, then in this case, for example, like this, right? Of course, you can just take a mark using a marker or a pen, and then after that, take the same belt, remember where the hole that you're using, and you can measure it the same way. From here, from the start of the buckle, all the way down to the hole that you are using. Where is it? 30.5 right now. Yeah, so the difference is only half an inch. It's pretty accurate. The good thing if you're buying from Dominion is that you can drop them an email. The owner, either Blake or Katie, would be able to help to adjust the size based on your actual size. Now, I prefer my belt to be a little bit too small for me, meaning to say, I don't end up in the middle of the belt. Let me show you. I am wearing another belt right now. There are 10 holes, I counted it, and I'm right in the middle. So there's a lot of belt flapping around, and it will be like this when you're lifting. Sometimes when you are squatting or whatsoever, you would hit the tongue of the belt when you are lifting. I don't like that. This is the belt that I wear. Like what I mentioned just now, I like to use the third hole from the end. That's the only thing that I have left at the end of the belt, so it will not disturb me when I'm lifting. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this guide and tutorial has been helping you in buying your shoes and your belt for the shopping season. Happy shopping, and see you next time.